products from Monsanto. There's a list. It just came out on Facebook the other day. Aunt Jemima, Quaker, Betty Crockett, General Mills, Bisquick, Duncan Hines, Hungry Jacks?
Hungry Jack.
Hungry Jack. Jiffy, Miss Butterworth's, Pepper Ridge Farms, Campbell's, Aurora Foods, Kraft, Philip Morris. I didn't even know they were into food. I thought they were cigarettes. But you never know. Hershey's Chocolate, Hershey's Nestle, Post Cereals, Carnation, Wholesome,
Gotta pull this down a little bit,
Interstate Bakeries, Best Foods, Nora, Ord IDA, Smart Ones, Power Bar Brand, Chief Boyardee, Hormel, Loma Linda, Morningstar, Lipton, Unilever, Uncle Ben's, Rice-A-Roni, Passaroni, Tombstone Pizza, that's fitting, Totino's, Orville Rindenbacher, Pop Secret, Pringles, Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Minute Maid, Pepsi, Kellogg's, Nature Valley, Nabisco, Pillsbury, Heinz, Hellman's, Hunt's, Casey Masterpiece, Frito-Lay Pepsi, Delicious Brand Cookies, Famous Amos, Keebler Flowers Industries, Banquet, Green Giant, Healthy Choice, Conagra, Kids Cuisine, Stuffers, Lean Cuisine, Marie Callender's, Cadbury Schweppes, Capri Sun, Kool-Aid, Ocean Spray, V8, Prego Pasta Sauce, Ragu sauce.
Ragu sauce.
Ragu sauce.
Yeah.
It's hard to read. When I undertook to organize this rally, there was really no group dealing with the issue here in Victoria. So if you're interested, you could put your name down here and I can contact you when there's another meeting.
It's a new thing. No? Yes, exactly.
Dieter, would you like to say something? Oh, yes, I've got lots of issues here.
Someone wants to start a nice growing vegetable and tries to improve it all his life long. And all of a sudden, someone in the neighborhood is coming with some kind of a GMO organism in their products. And the pollen is going to drive over your property and contaminate all your products that you established for a long time already. Well, this is a blow that is very hard to take. And whoever wants to, fight this kind of a thing, has a chance to do it now while it is still fresh in the making. There is growing concern in the future that we're going to be introduced with more and more of this situation, and where this ever ends, I never know. And it's just like if we were children playing in a sandbox, and somebody came along and put something in the sand which doesn't make it stick together anymore, what would you say? The children would be very disappointed, and so would be the adults, because they like the children play in the sand. Now, we are like to play in the soil, and we have our hands in the soil for most of the year. Now, can you imagine all the chemicals that is being introduced into our present soil is going to go somewhere. It's being absorbed by the plants, it's being absorbed by the soil. If it doesn't, it is absorbed by the soil that goes down underground on the continuous rain that we have. I have present an example of how much rain we have, and that is a 45-gallon drum full of water. That's the rain which has accumulated over the winter. So when you have a concern that these chemicals go underground, it's going to affect your drinking water. Now, what are you going to do then? The water you bring up from the ground, you have to clean it. Now, this whole thing can be avoided in the first place by just refusing to accept all these chemicals that the manufacturers produce in the natural program that or progress that we do organically. There is your chance, and I wish you take this chance, and I wish you let your children know what is happening, because they are supposed to know about these things. And in the future, we all depend on our children that they bring this knowledge forward. And I hope we all go by that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm a retired scientist, and I've been concerned about GMOs for many years. It all started for me when I lived in Ontario on a hobby farm and grew all my own food. At that time, I became interested in investigating genetically modified food. What you need to know, since I'm involved in the field of pharmacology and toxicology, is that genetically modified foods are not only bad for farmers, they're bad for anybody who eats them. The people, Monsanto, was allowed to get away with safety claims based on 90-day studies in rats. A recent study from Italy showed that if you feed GMOs or Roundup Ready glyphosate, which is the herbicide that is used for resistance, that if you feed rats for their whole lifetime, they are seriously injured. They have tumors, they die, and they are in serious problems that you might face if you eat GMO food for a lifetime, as most of us will be compelled to do unless we eat organic. The point is that genetically modified foods have never been shown to be safe. The tests that Monsanto did are irrelevant to safety, and anybody who thinks that it's safe to buy them is out of their mind. So if you don't eat organic, you're putting yourself at risk.
Yes, we sent out a release. Hopefully local media will pick it up, making people aware of this issue and talking about the rallies that are going on both here and across the country today. The NDP has called for a moratorium on the introduction of genetically modified alfalfa in the country. We think that there's no way that the effects can be contained, especially as alfalfa is a bee-pollinated plant, that the genetically modified plants will then obviously get loose throughout the country, and we don't know the consequences of that. Our agriculture critic Malcolm Allen has been working very closely with the National Farmers Union and will continue to do so. We hope that the government will listen to farmers and will listen to the voice of the public here and stop this importation of genetically modified crops. It's quite hopeful today that we finally got people uniting around a very specific issue that perhaps we can get the government to take action on, and then raise awareness so that people become aware of the general issue that I believe we need to oppose genetically modified food products altogether. I think the phrase I heard today, to vote with your fork, is a very important one.
We heat our greenhouse by burning flax straw, which we use to heat water, which is pumped into the greenhouse. In Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, generally, there isn't any other industry there to use it, and so it's burnt off the fields in the fall into the atmosphere, and it is a high oil content, so it produces a lot of energy when it's burnt. In Manitoba, they have huge problems in the fall with fog developing and the smoke, along with the fog, reducing the visibility on roads, which can be very serious. So our burning it environmentally in our flax boiler is very good for the environment. It's a zero emission type of use. I went to Berlin in the fall to look at a high-tech flax biomass boiler that burns straw in Europe, and in Germany the emission standards are very, very high, and this is well below any of the of the guidelines for it, and we should be using that technology in Canada to heat buildings. A researcher in Canada developed a genetically modified flaxseed, and then it was, I'm not too sure the exact terms, but it was not allowed to be commercialized. It was disallowed, and that's a lot of years ago, maybe in 89, 90. But what he did is he distributed some to schools, and it got into the system, and so Canadian flax was disallowed from Europe for several years, and I think it still is, unless, well, any flaxseed that we sell has to be tested extensively for GMOs.
So thank you very much for coming out.
No GMOs, no GMOs, no GMOs, no GMOs, no GMOs, no GMOs, no GMOs.